Yo, what is going on, guys? It's been a little bit, Scotty MC. It's been a while. I think the last time I did a sit-down video, was sort of where I think we just lost to in the FFA Cup to the Mariners. I had done a few videos in between where I've done like away game vlogs and stuff like that. The first time I've done a long time I've done a video, and the main reason I'm doing this video is because if you're living under a rock and you don't know what's going on, then I don't know how you wouldn't. The coronavirus is spreading the world by storm, and everything is being postponed. And obviously, everyone loves the A-League, everyone loves the rule. Well, not everyone loves the rule, everyone loves football in Australia, and unfortunately, we'll not be able to see that lately. It's because it's been postponed, obviously. Same with a lot of sports. I have to commend the FFA and the NRL for keeping the season going for as long as they could. I mean, obviously, NRL only got one round out of it. AFL didn't even get a round out, I don't believe. Or maybe National, I think they got one round out as well. But I think actually no, the NRL got two rounds. AFL only got one. But commend them for keeping them on, keep going as long as they could to try to go behind closed doors and try to do everything they could possibly before it got too unsafe. But so commend them on that. But basically, what this video is doing is I was actually playing Xbox with my mates a couple months ago on Pro Clubs on Richard Raw FC. So shout out to the boys there. And I just realized all this stuff here. Just ignore that. But yeah, and we we're having a chat and we we're just going on about all the things that the A-League could do to revamp themselves in this time of what's going on. No one really knows what's going on. We will find out on the 22nd. I'm actually recording this on the 21st at 12:30 a.m. So I recorded this before and the camera stopped up. So fingers crossed it doesn't stop up this time. Yeah, so I was hoping to actually post it on the 20th on the Monday and then come back later on once you find out a little bit more on the Wednesday. But basically, we'll find out on the Wednesday what's going on, whether Lee's going to be coming back or not. But the fact is, whether or not Lee's going to come back, the A-League needs to try to revamp themselves. And in this time of need, where everyone goes, "Oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Stay safe and all that stuff." I feel like the FFA are definitely working behind the scenes to try to make sure that they are keeping up to date with everything, making sure they know what's going on, and not just for this season, but further seasons in the future, and what's going to happen with the A-League, NPL Football Australia in general. So basically what I'm going to talk about tonight, and if I'm not as excited as I normally am, is because it is 12:30 in the morning, and I wanted to just record this up and hopefully get this up on the 21st, the day before we find out about it. And also, if you're watching this and you haven't actually tuned into the Facebook page for the Socceroos to watch England versus Australia, definitely go watch that. It's a brilliant win from Australia from 2003, so I definitely go check that out. It's an awesome classic moment, and that's also something that the A-League and football are doing really well in general. But basically, what I'm going to talk about now is what the A-League can try to do to revamp themselves in the A-League, football Australia, and everything in general. So what they need to do is try to line up the NPL and the A-League seasons. So that means starting the A-League in February or something like that, playing through to like October. It needs to be a longer season. It needs to be more teams, so eventually promotion, relegation, adding more teams, stuff like that. But it needs to be lined up with the NPL, the A-League, and they have to line up a youth competition. So what I mean by youth competition and NPL is just the second division, if you call it like that. But maybe we might see a second division sooner than rather later, because the fact that they've had this time off, they might actually get a second division to work. Whether or not they go, all right, we'll play one more NPL season, the top two from every competition go up, or they might do like a whole sweep and see which teams are viable, where they've got like the facilities, or whether they've got the money or the capabilities, stuff like that, to go up. Whether they do a little tournament, I think the tournament probably be a bit more cooler to see, a bit more value for money for the fans to go watch and see. If we win this game, we're going to go to the second division next season. Like, it'd be awesome to see that. So I think they definitely need to bring a second division in, a proper one. But if not, they definitely need to have a proper youth competition. So what I mean by that is, if you see over in the Premier League, they've got the under-21 reserve teams where, say, Manchester United might be playing Manchester City that weekend, massive derby, but the under-20s, under-21s from both teams are playing. So what that would mean with the A-League, instead of just having their 8-game youth competition and then going back to NPL, they basically say the Brisbane Roar players that might not be getting game time or might be young, that want to test themselves, or are good enough to play in the A-League, but just not up to the massive, the big standard that is the actual proper A-League. They might have like Isaac Powell, Courtney Perkins, Akbari, Merson Radovic. I mean, he's been playing, but like players like that are sort of fringe players that can still get a decent amount of game time. That isn't an NPL. George Mells as well hasn't really got a chance in the Raw this season, but it'd be awesome to see us have a proper NPR, a proper, what am I trying to say? Proper youth team competition where you play every single week that the A-League plays, you play at the same time. You probably don't get paid as much as what you would if you for appearances and stuff like that, but you're in the squad, whether you're a development player, whether you're a scholarship player or a main team player, whatever like that. If you're under 23 or under 21, they might have the league where it's under 21. So I think it's probably under 23 is probably work best, where you can have all players that are registered to A-League teams versus everyone or the other team week in, week out. So whether or not they want to do it where they have the A-League teams play after the NPL or after the under 23 games, that'd be awesome because you get to see a lot more fans will get to know a lot more players. Like they might be like, because I definitely knew Meza Maradovic. I knew that he was going to be good. I saw him banging in goals season after season in the NPL, and I'm like, I said in a video, if you want to watch back, actually, I said that he needs to be at least on a scholarship deal. He might even be signed on a senior deal, and shows that I know something, I guess. But yeah, so that definitely be good because then fans will get to know a bit more about the players that they might not have seen as much in the main team, and then it also will give the chance for the coaches to probably see a lot more because, I mean, obviously they will be warming their players up and stuff before, but in saying that, they'll be able to find out a lot more about the under 20s players and stuff like that, under 23s and whatever, playing beforehand. The fans will get a bit more of a feel for the team and feel a bit more involved with the whole club instead of just the main starting 11 or bench players, stuff like that. You get to see a bit more of the youth players going around. So that's something that I would love to see. I did mention it slightly before with moving to winter. It's going to bring a lot better quality of games where I guess you see games that might kick off a bit later in the day, further on in the season where it's not as hot. You find the tempo and the fitness and the capability of the games is a lot better. One, that's probably because they're more fit, but in saying that, it's just general knowledge. If you're playing 40-degree weather in summer, it's going to be harder. It's going to be tougher. It's going to be a sloppier game. You see everywhere overseas, like they say, in England it's perfect because the weather's always pretty cool there. So they have top-notch quality football all the time. So if we want to see top-notch quality football over here, obviously we're not going to have the standard that Premier League and stuff have. We have to move it to winter. And I know that will be fighting against other codes, but I think for the greater good of the game, we need to line up with NPL. We need to move it to winter. And I know that a big thing is stadium availabilities. And you do see the NRL and stuff like that, they have been starting to make a change to the smaller stadiums like the A-League have done a little bit, but they generally play out of really big stadiums. We could use Leichhardt, Dolphins, just to name a few, Cogra, like stadiums like that. It brings the atmosphere to the TV and it makes people want to go to games because they see, look how good that was. There's 10,000 people packed in there compared to maybe 8,000 packed into a big stadium. It's just, the noise gets drowned out. You hear the atmosphere on TV. I could even hear bloody, when it was the Seabus game, I could hear Richard Raw and Josh Bratt outside the stadium banging on the drums and singing the songs. That just shows how much effect that two people can make in a stadium that is a smaller stadium, even though they were outside the stadium and there wasn't as many fans there. And the fact that there was Fox Sports cameras right there in saying that has probably helped. But in saying that, smaller stadiums are going to be making the spectacle for viewers all around the world watching, or if you're at the game, a better atmosphere. So I think we need to find more availability for smaller stadiums. That's definitely a thing that they have to try to do, whether or not the governments are going to be able to help us. The Matilda's bid for the World Cup definitely would help if we get that. They're going to have to build a few more stadiums. So Bootsy Stadium in Brisbane will be absolutely awesome, but the Raw definitely need one. Also in New Zealand as well. New Zealand, Westpac and Suncorp are really the only two massive stadiums that don't have a main stadium that we play out of that are smaller, apart from Dolphins this season that we've seen us play in Wellington have played out of Dunedin and Eden Park and stuff like that, but they're still really big stadiums anyway. But what else did I need to say? That's basically it. Oh, I also mentioned promotion and relegation, how I thought would work. I think what we should do is sort of how they do it with the Bundesliga. So with the top two teams of the division going up from the second division and the bottom team going automatically down to the second division, we'll call it the championship because I guess it's easier to understand. And the second bottom team in the A-League to versus the second team in the championship in a playoff, because that's going to show so much quality on show there. People are going to be fighting for contracts. They want to make sure they stay in the A-League. So it does give a bit more passion to the A-League and gives us a chance to actually see the players fight for a contract, fight for a spot in the A-League. And it's going to just like, right now they're just basically going, oh yeah, it's just a walk in the park. If we come last or we come second last, it's not really anything. They have brought it in where if you come last or whatever, you don't make the round of 32 automatic entry or something like that. The FA Cup, I can't remember exactly, but that is good. But like we need to see a bit more done. And I think with all this coronavirus stuff going on, we might actually see a bit of a change, and we might see some of this stuff happening quicker. And what I would love to see eventually, I think if I put a 5-year plan, or even a 3, I would love to see us have. I think a 5-year plan would. I love to see us have a 16 team comp. That might be a bit optimistic. I don't know. I would love to see almost every team have their own stadium that they play out of. That's that 10K stadium size, or 15, 20K, something that's like smaller, so we actually have a football stadium. I'd love to see promotion and relegation and a proper second division and all the leagues line up. I mean, this is my wish list. I would love to see stuff like this. Realistically, maybe in the next few years we might see some of this stuff happen, but I think probably next season probably will be too quick. But in saying that, we have a long time where we can push this back further and further, because we've got a massive off season, and if we do push it further enough where there is a decent amount of off season where we can still get preseason in and hopefully line up with the NPL. I hope that's what they're going to do. Whether or not we do find out if the A-League comes back or not, I'm not really too sure. I hope so. I would love to see us. I think we probably can fit it all in like a month's time, where we could have midweek games and stuff like that, and just have like a shortened final series and stuff like that. It's easy enough to say we can crown Sydney FC champions now, but in saying that, what happens to the ACL places? What happens to the? It doesn't really matter with the promotion, relegation, stuff like that, like it would in the Premier League and Champions League places and stuff like that. But what does happen with the Asian Champions League? Are the Raw going to make it if they cut the season now? Because we're currently sitting 4th, but Wellington don't count as the Asian Champions League because they're in Oceania. Who knows? But I think the best thing for the league to do is, if it's safe and if they can do so, bring the league back when it's possible behind closed doors. Try to get it done as safe as possible. Obviously, everyone has to make sure that they're staying home, staying away from everyone. If you are infected, self-isolate and stuff like that. We have to follow the government's the ruling and stuff like that. We have to try to bend that curve back to where we want it to be. So maybe eventually we will get to see football live again in the flesh. And we're doing really well in Queensland. I know as we're recording this on the 21st at the night time, actually, the 19th apparently was the only day where we actually had no confirmed cases, which is awesome. So we need to keep doing what we're doing. We can't just go, oh, yes, we're not going to get any confirmed cases and then go run out there. We need to really make sure we're properly doing what we have to do, and then so we can get to watch football eventually. So my verdict, I guess, is, well, I would love to see football come back, but only if it's safe. And if we don't, I would love to see hopefully a change and a revamp in the A-League. And let me know in the comments if you think any of these things will help the A-League, and if it actually will happen, and if there is anything else that you think you would love to see as well. And I guess something I could mention as well is the salary cap. It needs to be lowered, if not scrapped, because I mean, I wasn't going to say this, but I think we need to see a better football ability and stuff like that. And even though some teams like the Mariners and stuff like that may not be able to compete, I think for a while now they've just been a team that is feeding clubs and players like that. Like I guess like a Southampton and stuff like that. Teams just sort of need to have their way that they need to do things. So I guess some teams might push on for titles every year. Some teams might feed players into teams and stuff like that. I think we definitely need to see the salary cap lowered, or actually raised, so we can have more players, or more better players, or scrapped altogether. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope when I watch this back that there is no cuts and stuff happening with the camera and stuff, that because this is me talking for 13 minutes and I don't want to have to redo it again. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm out. Peace.